Welcome to assignment number 1. Let's go and talk a little bit about, what we want to do here, which is install a database and test out PHP and my HTML to that database, which is essentially what we will be doing a lot of this semester. Now, again, I have a couple of videos on how to install AMPs and set up user privileges, and AMPs, because it's a stack and it has a lot of applications that comes with it. Yeah. And MySQL, because it is the most installed, open source relational databases. I know that, there are fans out there for PostgreSQL and other databases like that, which is fine. I do agree that PostgreSQL is perhaps better. But, MySQL, again, most installed base, so that's why we're using it. And as well as, and it's easy to use in terms of conceptually, at the end of the semester, we'll be using our web server. But install AMPs and set up user. And then I also have, 4 download files over here. Video store, I just put it up here already. So once you've installed AMPs and you went to localhost, right? So once you install it, you go to localhost/phpMyAdmin, right? And one of the first things that you need to do is create a user, because it's used by PHP. So I'm just going to create one over here. I'm going to call it Dale lowercase. I'm keeping it simple now, just for the purpose of testing password, all just password, yeah, like this. I'm going to give myself some rights, data and structure rights. I'm not going to give myself admin rights for a user. And I'm just going to click on go. So I created a user. To create a database, I'm going to click on my purple PHP MyAdmin. And what that does is just take you home. Yeah. And I'm going to click on the SQL tab. And from my assignment, I'm going to copy this guy and paste it in. Sorry, wrong one. Copy. Okay. So what it does is create a database and then create a table and then put in one record Dale inside here. Yeah. So I'm just going to go. So now I have a video store, I have a customer table, and I have Dale. Okay, now I have 3 other files over here: HTML, main menu, HTML input, HTML, PHP input. So, and the PHP or HTML in front of it, that's what I want you to save the file as. Yeah. So for example, the PHP input text, right? So I'm going to come over here, PHP input text. I'm going to go and open it with Notepad++. I strongly recommend Notepad++ because it can save in a different format. Yeah. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save as, and I'm going to save it. And this is very important. Now, wherever you have AMPs installed on your machine, you need to go to that folder. In that folder, there is a www folder, which is your local host folder, yeah, which again house HTML and PHP files. So here we go. I'm going to come in there and I'm going to save this as just input like this and as a PHP file. And I'm going to take a look at the other input files, the HTML input files. So I'm going to come here and also edit with Notepad++. And I'm going to save it as, again, I'm going to go to that, www. This on my machine is here now, okay? So I'm going to come to the www and I'm going to call it input. But this time I'm going to save it as an HTML file, right? HTML, input HTML. So whatever, I just created 2 little files. I just actually 2 little files. And let's see, how these guys interact with our database. Our database again is located here, right? It's here. the data. I have a database called Video Store Customer. Let's go see how it interacts with it. Okay, so I'm going to come in and open up another tab. I'm going to call it localhost. And I'm going to call it my input.html. And it has over here. So I'm going to enter the customer number 2, and I'm going to say, I don't know, Joe, right? Then I submit it. Now it should have successfully gone over, and I can look at that. I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to click back on my customer table, and now I have a Joe. Now it went over to the PHP, which means that, you know, what it did was it called up that file. So I come back here and I can put in another one. I say here and I say Jane, right? And I come here, successful, come back here, click on my customer. Now I have a Jane, right? So let's take a look at that file. Again, the HTML, all it does is I have a couple of pukas, right? It has a couple of pukas, input HTML. It has a couple of shucks. Where's that guy? Localhost input HTML. Yeah, but yeah. So it just has a couple pukas for entering a number and a name, right? Very simple. Yeah. And then once it does that, then it says go ahead and submit it to the input PHP file. Yeah, actually I have a capital. I should remain consistent in that, keep everything in the same casing, but I call it. Yeah. Now there's a menu over here and I don't have it yet. So when I click on it, doesn't find anything. So I have a third file over there, right? It's called HTML main menu. So I'm going to come in over here. I'm going to edit that guy. I'm going to save it. Again, you got to save it to the www folder. On my machine, this is where it's located. And I'm going to call it main menu. I'm going to call it main menu and an HTML file, right? Like this, yeah. Then I'm going to save it here. So I'm going to save. Now let's go see if that works with the button again. So I'm just going to go back over here. I'm going to refresh it a couple of times. Then I click on the main menu. Oh, look, the main menu, input records. I'm going to put in number 4. I'm going to put in Paul, and then I'm going to submit it. And I see that if I click here, Paul comes over. So I have that, yeah. So, you know, in essence, this is what we'll be doing this semester. Okay, and more stuff. Yeah, we'll see you.